Hey guys, Chris here, just hanging out in the garage, organizing my boat. It's wintertime and where I live, our lakes freeze. So I'm not out doing any bass fishing today, which is what I'd rather be doing, but at least I can spend some time in the garage working on some tackle. So recently I got a new spinning reel and I needed to get a new spinning rod. So I started looking at some rods. I was looking at ARK rods, and I was on their website and I saw a deal they had for one of their models of rod called the Catalyzer, which I'd never heard of. And they had them 3 for $99, which is really cheap. No matter what the fishing rod, that's really cheap. So I did some looking. Turns out they're probably their lowest end rod, and they normally retail for like 60 bucks, like $59.99. But I thought, man, 3 rods for $99, man, I gotta check them out. So I went ahead and bought 3 of them. Now, when I looked into the bottom line, they only made 4 different rods. They have a spinning rod, it's a 7-foot medium. They have and then 3 bait cast rods. One's a 7-foot medium heavy, then they have a 7.2 heavy and a 7.3 medium heavy. I didn't need a 7-foot medium heavy, so I bought the other 3. I got a spinning rod 7-foot medium, which is what I was really looking for, and then I picked up the 7.2 heavy and the 7.3 medium heavy. So let's check these things out. So like I said, it's called the Catalyzer. That's what it says right there. This is the spinning rod. First thing I notice about this rod is how light it is. Man, it is very light. Almost alarmingly light. I hope it holds up and it doesn't bust right off. I actually broke a couple of rods last year, so you know, and they were not near this light. Now, light rods are typically reserved for the higher end stuff, right? You want a lighter rod so that it's less work, it's more finessey, it's easy to handle, it's more what's the word, sensitive. So light rods are kind of like, that's typically for higher end stuff, not stuff in like the $60 range. So this is a very, very light rod. So I was doing a little reading, and what I found out is it is actually carbon fiber. Let me double check that. Yeah, 36-ton high modulus carbon fiber blank. So it's carbon fiber. Carbon fiber is pretty strong and it is pretty light. I don't know, I've got a lot of reels and rods. I don't know what they're all made of. I think most of them are made of graphite or fiberglass or a combination of those two. I don't know that I have any carbon fiber rods. I think I might have some light rods that are carbon fiber, and I just didn't realize it. But so carbon fiber, light and strong. So hopefully that explains the lightness, and they should be pretty strong. It's a 36-ton blank, which I'm not exactly what that tonnage number means, but in my experience buying rods, the higher the tonnage, the more durable and the stronger the rod. So this is the spinning rod. Like I said, it's a 7-foot medium, extra fast. So it's got a fast taper, so it hits the backbone pretty quick in the action. You know, it gets about right there and it gets pretty firm. So my plan is to use this rod to do some finesse techniques, drop shotting, fishing with a Ned rig or a shaky head, and even with like a wacky worm. So a nice rod that has a good quick tip on it so you can feel those light bites is really important. So this looks like it should do fine. The rod seat, they call it a custom rod seat. It doesn't look very custom to me. I mean, it's just a plastic rod seat, but it's obviously their own design. And your typical nut there to tighten down the rod seat. The reel seat, I should say. It has a little bait keeper, a little hook keeper right there to hook your lure to. Stainless steel line guides. Stainless steel line guides work fine. I've used a lot of rods with stainless steel guides. Typically, cheaper rods have stainless steel guides. Higher end will have ceramic line. Do they have like a ceramic insert? I don't have any problem with either. These are probably a little bit more susceptible to getting a nick in the steel that will then cause your line to, you know, to damage your line. Whereas with ceramic, there's probably less likelihood that you'll get a nick, but you can break the ceramic insert, and then you have to replace the whole guide if that does happen. Back to the handle, it's got EVA foam, which is, you know, I like EVA foam. It's no problem. It works good for me. But it is on the cheaper end of things. You know, cork or wind grips would be a little bit more high end, but I've got lots of rods with EVA foam, and I used it for years, and I have no issue with it. It works fine. So there it is. That's the spinning rod that I picked up. All right, now let's look at the other two. This one is the 7.2 heavy. It's a pretty heavy rod. I did throw a reel on here. This is a loose speed spool, custom. But this is probably one of the reels I would use on this. This is a pretty heavy rod. Probably use this for, you know, punching vegetation or pitching a jig around cover. That's probably what I use that for. And one thing about the bait casting rod is the grip right here. It's actually really, really nice. It fits my hand quite well. These taper on this side and taper on that side. I do like that. And the foam handle, I guess if it was a little bit bigger, that would be okay, but it's not bad at all. The little trigger, sometimes I go 2 fingers ahead of it, sometimes 3, depending on the technique, and it feels pretty good for both, so no issues there. So there we go, 7.2 heavy. I also picked up, oh, that's the spinning rod. I also picked up another bait caster. This is a 7.3 medium heavy with fast taper, and this pretty good all-around rod, but what I'm going to use this for is for throwing chatterbaits. But you could really use this for whatever. I mean, you could fish lots of moving baits on it. Medium heavy is good for that. 7.3 is a good length, good for casting distance, but this would be great for any of those moving baits. You could also use this for throwing a jig or throwing soft plastics for pitching creature baits and stuff around docks. I do kind of like a medium heavy rod when I'm flipping jigs around docks. The reason for that is I use pretty heavy line, and I've done that with heavy rods in the past because I thought I needed that heavy rod for the hook set, and I end up breaking rods. So medium heavy works great for pitching jigs around heavy cover, especially hard cover like a dock or a tree or something like that. So you have a little bit more give in the system so you don't end up breaking your rod, which like I said, I've done before, and I was very unhappy about it. So this would be a great rod for that. Like I said though, I'm going to use it for moving baits, chatterbaits, probably most likely bladed jigs and swim jigs, stuff like that. But be great for anything else, you know, crankbaits, spinner baits. So there you go. All right, guys. It's hard to argue with the value. You know, 3 rods for 99 bucks. I mean, there's some pretty low-end rods out there that you're not going to buy 3 of them for 99 bucks. ARK has a pretty reputable name in the bass fishing world for having quality stuff. So I've never owned one, so I'm excited to try these out. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to throw them around till the springtime as we're all froze up here, but excited to get these things out and give them a shot. So like I said, there were 3 for 99 bucks. If you go to their website, you might still be able to get that. I don't know how long they're running that promotion. Otherwise, these are $60 rods. So, all right, guys, if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. Hit that little bell down there so you don't miss anything. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.